So today's topic is Python list, and this is as similar to our arrays in different programming languages. But in Python, we have three different same data types like list, tuples, and arrays. So we will be discussing in this section all about the list. So if you get better, stronger understanding of how lists work, then you will easily understand how tuple and other arrays work in Python. So without further delay, let's dive into it and learn list without further delay. So what is list? Lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. As we can see that here we have different many variables, many values in single variable. So this is how lists work. Lists are one of the four data types in Python used to store collection of data. Other three, tuple, set, and dictionary, all with different qualities and usage. We have similar three data types others, which are tuple and set dictionaries, which have different use cases. So based on that, they are different. In this section, we are only discussing the Python list. So let's try out this one. So we can get better understanding of how Python list works. So if we little zoom in and if we try to understand what is happening, then you can see that we have a variable, and a variable is containing multiple values. So in the starting, what we have done, we are assigning one value to one variable, and what is it doing? It when we put that, it will giving the answer output of one value. But what if we need multiple value like this? If we have need three values, can we print like this? It's not. For printing or it is happen, but we get some other stuff which is not required for us. So we just need the output. So the best case to store list is in this form, which will not cause of anything else. So the the best usage of list is to put the square bracket. It denote that it is a list. Instead, if we put small brackets, it will tuple. Or if we don't put any bracket, it maybe changes data type. So for figuring out what data type it is, we have to put this square bracket, which indicates that it is a list. So you can increase or decrease the value of list as much as you want. In our uh, bigger softwares, we primarily have a bunch of many collections of data in this form, and we just put print list item, and it will print all the stuff. And if you have watched the string section, well, we already have discussed that a string is a collection of characters. Means this is a collection of characters. And now what we can see that this whole list is a collection of strings. List is a collection of strings. So is it possible if we put the same bracket, square bracket, put the location and want to print the stuff, does it print something? Yeah, it's definitely going to do that. And if we are just giving the position of the location of the stuff in the list, and it will be printing the stuff based on our location. So it is zero position, it is one position, two position, third position, fourth, fifth, and sixth position. So based on that, we have different outputs. So this is the best way to have uh, list, and its use cases are much more bigger than we think. We already have used this stuff. You can see that list items are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. We already have done that. We have duplicate values. So list items are indexed. We already have discussed how to index, how to get the stuff out of the box. And now it's time to learn about the order. So when we say that lists are ordered, it means that items have a defined order and that order will not change. So list has an order which cannot be changed because it is going to be a fixed. If you add a new item to a list, the new item will be placed at the end of the list. So if you want to put any item by programming any other technique, then the item will be added in the end automatically, like this, not in center. We are changing, if we changing here, it means we are changing manually, but if we do it programmatically, it will change, it will add the value at the end. So let's get deeper dive into it and learn what are the possibilities. So not that there are some list methods that will change the order by in general. The order of the list will not change. The order of list will not change, but there are possibilities of changing the values on the position. So let's go for it. And changeable. The list is changeable means that we can change it and move item in a list after it has been created. That's a great one. So let's see. We already has done that. We have duplicate values and we have explored that we can have duplicate values in our list. So let's move forward and we can now see the list length. As we already have done with string, we just have to put len, len, then the bracket, small bracket, and if we run this, you will see the length of our list, which is 8. If we add a number, what will happen? It will count or not count? It will count. You can have different data types in a single list. So it can be string, it can be uh, boolean, it can be decimal, I think. If we run that, we will see. Yeah, definitely. It's more good than we think. So now let's move forward. List item and data types. We can have like this also. In this, we have merged all data types in one list. But if you want to have different lists for different data types, you can process as follow. And you can do it easily without any issue. Everything will be workable. If we run this, you will see we have all of the output in the same page without any issue. So this is how lists work, and it can contain many data types in single list or maybe have many lists with different data types. And this can contain different data types. We already have discussed that. It is the best way. So it can be a string, integer, boolean, and any other data type you want to have. If you want to see what is the type of list, just put type and this, and you will see what the data type of our list one is list. If we put for second, if you have different data types in your list, it doesn't change the list type. It will be defaultly list because we are indicating the brackets. And if we remove the brackets, it might change the data type. So for indication of list, you have to have the square brackets. You can see that if we remove the bracket, square bracket, it becomes tuple. We will be discussing tuple in the tuple section. Right now, we are just only focusing on list. So we already have done this to check the data type. Now it's time to list constructor. Use the list constructor. What it will do? Hmm, let's run this and figure out. If we use the list constructor, what will be the output? Not that double round brackets. We are creating a list and now we have a list function. You know that in starting we use something like a string function to indicate what data type should our variable have, like this one, new or new var. If we want to make the stuff string, then we put string and we just put the stuff. It may be text, it may be something hello. Now we are indicating that this variable will be 100% string because we are specifying the data type of this variable. Now in list, when you are creating a list, we are telling that this is totally a list. So if we declare the data type already after assignment operator, what will happen? Tell me. It doesn't doing anything else. I think if we have the similar, what is changing? Let's see. Mm, let's see what are the changes between these two outputs. So we can examine what is happening. Okay, okay, okay. So if we indicate, the value, what is happening? So right now, I don't think it's more important because I think here is something happening like constructor is working. Maybe it's a type of dictionary that I don't know what is happening, but in coming up section, we will definitely got understanding why this is happening, what is the meaning of this. So you can also try it out by yourself so you can understand it better. Python collections, arrays. There are four collection data types in the Python programming language. List is a collection that is ordered and changeable, allows duplicate members. Tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable, allows duplicate members. Set is a collection which is unordered, unchangeable, and unindexed, no duplicate members. So dictionary is a collection which is ordered and changeable, no duplicate members. So right now we have understood a lot of stuff, but in coming up section we will go further into it and list stuff, and we will understood how these things are working. So list, what will be the result of the following syntax? So if you have this, if you put the location 1, then definitely it will be banana because in list also we have the first position what is at 0th position, which is still confusing stuff. It might be need to be changed in the programming history. I have to go to change that. It is making stuff confusing. If we put this answer, it's definitely right. I'm the master, I'm the programmer. So now it's time to learn Python access list items. What does that mean? Access items means accessing the item in the list. So we have created list which can contain multiple values. Now it's time to have the items from the list by access items. Access item means accessing the items in the list. So if we put the position of the stuff, it will print out the values inside our uh, list. So if we put 2, then we will get cherry, and it is the last position and it is the last stuff we had. If we put -2, what will be the answer? Can you guess? I will be telling it will be apple. Why it's banana? Why this happening? Okay, there is no logic. I don't know why it is happening. If we put like this, just for trying out, it doesn't need to be have any output, but it is printing out two values from uh, one and two values. It means not the position, it is putting the numbers. If we put 3, we don't have index 3, but it is counting from 1 to 3. It's not considering the locations, but it is considering the quantity. Hopefully you understand. So yeah, that's it. And the first item has index 0. We already know that. But negative indexing means starting from the end. And minus 1 refers to the last item. Minus 2 refers to the second item. Okay. So in uh, starting from the back last point, if we put minus 1, there it will be first position. But if we want to start from the starting, we have to put 0. So you have to know that if you are starting to print stuff from start, you should start with the position 0. But if you are want to print stuff from the end, you have to start from minus 1. Then you can go for minus 2, minus 3, and the minus 3 will be the last item, which is the starting item in this list. You can see that. So this is how this negative indexing work. Now it's time to know range of indexes. We already have done something, and just for better understanding, let's see it. So if we put this, which contain a lots of items in our list, if we want to give a range from 1 to 3 items, I need to see in my output. So what it will do, it will put item from position 1 to 2, position 1 to 3. Still it's confusing, still it's confusing, but we already have discussed it is the zeroth position, so we don't have to worry about that. And we are telling that we need to print stuff from 1. It will start printing from 1 and it will goes to 3, but it will not print the third. So if we put 4, then we are getting the value of orange also, because it will print 3 values and it will end up at keying. You can see that. So this is how it's work. It is still not much clearer documentation or programming language. In future, it might be refresh or update. So not that the search will start at index 2 included and end at index 5 not included. So the ending point value will be not considered. It will start from the starting point, this point, and it will goes to 5 position, and it will not print the 5th position value, but it will print all the values till 5. 5 is not included. So remember that the first item has index 0. By leaving out the start value, the range will start at the first item. So if you don't want to put the starting point at is it the first item, you want to print all of this stuff till 6th position, then this will happen. It will print out all this stuff till the position 2. As we have discussed, it will start from 0 1 and it will not print the value 2. So this is how it's work. And by leaving further stuff, this example return the item from cherry to the end. If you want to have the value from this position to till end, it will print all of this stuff from the value this melon to mango. So it will include all of this stuff, including this value also. So it will start from cherry, it is orange, kiwi, and yeah, because in starting it start with 0. Uh, so range of index negative indexing. You can try out the negative indexing. You start from and check if the item exists. So yeah, it is a good topic. We already have tried out it with list and other stuff, but for now we are using it list. So if apple in this list, then yes, print the apple is in the fruit list. If it's not, does it will show any output to us? it will not show any output to us because we only have a condition if true. We don't have a condition if it's false. So you can see that. So we can do it in two ways. Just put not. It will say that if it's not, then print no, and it will work. But it becomes sometime confusing. Like we have same condition, but just in and not. In means it will have in the uh, list, and it will saying it is not in the list. So instead of all of this stuff, you just have to use else. And now this is now is the part of this if and else statement. And if the first argument is not true, which is not true because there is no apple in the list, so it will tell us no apple in the list. This argument becomes true. If we have the argument first is true, then we will get this output, yes, apple is in the list. So yeah, that's it for access items of list. This time to learn how this exercise will work. So what will be the result of the following syntax? So if we are starting from the endpoint, the -1 will be the last value. So last value we have cherry. So if you click on this, then it will be a correct answer. So let's move forward towards next topic. So it's time to learn Python list items, add list items. So in this section, we will be adding items to our list, and we will be adding one item to whole list to another list. So let's dive into it and learn it in better way. So for appending items, so whenever we talk about inserting something, we can also do append. Append means attaching something to the existing stuff. So in this scenario, we are using the append function method, you can say, to append an item. So what it does, if we click on this and run this program, so you can see, uh, if we see that, if we can, um, we only have three items in our list, which is apple, banana, and cherry. And when we do append an item to our this list, what this list become, it contain now four values, and the last appending value will be attached to the end of the list, which is here. And this is how appends work. So you can do multiple time append, and it will attach the new stuff at the end of your list. So you can use papaya, and if we run this, then we have now five values, and each value will add it at the end of the stuff. So this is the best stuff if you don't want to uh, give the exact index where you want to put the stuff. Like you just want to add the stuff, then you should use append, which will add the stuff at the end of your list. But its limitation is come when we need to add this item to any specific index we want. What if I need to put it in the first of the apple, before the apple? We can't do with the append function. So here is the new things comes, insert. In list, we use this insert method to insert an item at specific index. So for doing that, we just have to change this one, change change this append with insert function method. You will say that, and now this method will not run, I think, if we run this, because it needs an index where we want to put. As we have discussed, I want to put it before the apple, so the apple index is 0. So actually I am replacing this value with this. What it will does, it will do something like this. It will shift the whole stuff towards next index. It's not replacing, but it is uh, shifting stuff and making place location for its own. So if we run this, then you can see that the first item will be orange. And now we can see that we have um, shifted all values to the next indexes. So we can put the value anywhere you want. Like if we are giving it a value of 2, then it will be after banana. And if you want to add more stuff like pineapple, what it will do, the same, they are doing the same stuff, but what it will do when we insert it here, now it will again run this function, and when it see that here is the same location we are giving to it, then it will go again to it and paste it here. So my banana will come first, then pineapple, then orange. You can see that. And this is the best way to insert any item in your list. So you have to note that as a result of example above, the list will now contain 4 items, 5 items, because we have added more and more. So we already know append now and how to insert list items in list. Now it's time to learn extend list. What it will does to append element from another list to current list, you can use extend. So you have two lists and you want to merge them. You want to merge one list to another list, then there will be a method comes in our panel which is extend. So it is the best scenario which we can use. Just copy paste and see the result. So what is happening here, you can see that we have a list and we have another list which contain different fruits. So we are just appending list 1, okay, list 1 with the list 2 values. So for attaching them, we use this extend method. If we run this, then this first list will contain all of the other fruits from the second list, because now it's contain all of this stuff. So just for more understanding, if we run this, then it will contain only the first list. If we run this, you will see topical. And if we run this, what basically I'm doing, I'm just adjusting them and try to see the difference what we will get. So in the first print we will get this list, in the second print we will get the second values, but in the third list we are attaching this second list to the first list. So when we print out the same list, this list, then it will contain all of the values. But in second scenario, what we are going to do, we are, okay, I have done something wrong. Because the topical is extending by the topical, it's not the correct. We have to append with this topical. So now we can see the difference. So in the second scenario, what we have done, we have attached the first value, first list to the second list, this list, and we can see that the fruits of this is coming first before this one, and this is how appends work. But there are more. It's just because we already have append this list with because in our this list now we have more values, so it's basically taking all of the values, the first and second in this section, and when we second time appending extending the first list with this, it's actually getting this value, which makes it more longer than we have. So if we remove this, we can see the difference and we can better understand. So you can see that it will only have 6 values, which is coming from first from the second list, which is tropical, and after that it is extended by this value, this list which contain apple, banana, and cherry. So this is how we can extend our list in our Python. Now it's time to add any iterable. The extend method does not have to append list. You can add any iterable object, tuple, set, dictionary, etc. So this section is just for informative, but in the coming up section we will be discussing this in more in depth, because you can see that we are just using different data type which is tuple, which we doesn't have explored yet, but for basic understanding you can see that our list is wrapped up inside a square bracket, but our tuples has a small bracket, small circular bracket. So this is the basic difference you can see, but in future we will be talking about the in depth about it. So we can extend any list using this extend method, and you can put any tuple, dictionary, etc. I think with using the extend method. So it is just for understanding. We will discuss it later. So in this exercise, what will be the result of the following syntax? So if you have learned the stuff what I have delivered to you, then you can solve it easily. My list contain apple, banana, and cherry, and my list dot insert orange value at the position 0. So position is 0 will what it will does, it will put the orange in first. Okay, then what will be the on the location 1? The apple is currently on index 0. When orange come to here, it will shift it to the location 2, and it will shift to location 3, and it will shift to location 4. And what is means our apple is now on location 1. If we click on this, our answer is 100% correct, because we know the concept. Now it's time to learn remove list item. As we have discussed the adding inserting items in our list, now it's time to have some understanding how we can remove a specific item in our list. The remove method removes a specific item. It is great. It's great, really great, because you you don't need to worry about any other things to be removed, but you can directly give the value which you want to remove. And if that's why I love Python. Python is more dynamic than any other language. We just have to give the item which we want to remove, and it's automatically remove that, and there will be no empty space. They are just replacing the index with the second index it has. And if we give any other values like the apple, it will also do that. So we can also check before and after stuff if we want to. Mm, if we remove the stuff one by one, does it will do anything? Let's see. So basically we are doing that before removing any element, we are printing the whole list. And one by one we have removed the stuff, and one by one we have print the stuff. So what will it does, it will print all of this stuff in the list, and it will show up each section where we have removed one stuff at a time. In the last you can see that we doesn't have any stuff in our list. But what you can do, mm, you can you can insert at the end. We already have a remove function, so if we try out the insert function, which is inserting the stuff, cherry, banana. So we only have to give 0. So it will shift the whole value, And if we print this list, at the end we will again have let's make it little complex. So in starting we are just removing the stuff one by one. In the ending we are inserting the stuff one by one. So you can see that how things are working. Then you can see that in the end we have the full value, but it's now reversed. We we have done it reverse. So that's why it become reverse. So yeah, this is the way how you can remove the stuff in your list. If there is more than one item with a specific value, the remove method removes the first occurrence. What does it mean? Remove the first occurrence of the banana. So if you have many values, duplicated values, many times you have a duplicated values. So what it does, it will not remove all of the same values in your list, but it will only remove one value which is starting from the start from 0, 1 to which value comes first, it will be removed. If there is duplicated values in your list. So if we run this, you will see that we will be having apple, cherry, banana, and kiwi. And the second first location where we have the banana is now removed, and the second location uh, banana is still there. It means it will remove one item at a time. So you can do this, and when we do this, it will remove all of the banana because first time it will remove one banana, then second time it remove second banana. What if you have three values after you were? So what it does, we will still have one banana. You can see that. So for removing each banana or each value, we have to call the remove method again and again. So this is how it's work. Remove specific index. So for inserting at a specific index, we use insert method, and for removing a specific index, we use pop. So what pops does, we just need to give the location of the stuff and it will remove the stuff. So instead of giving pop, we have to give the location of which is 1, and pop we have the second stuff. We only want to remove the one banana. Then if we want to remove the second banana which is on location 2, 0 location, 1 location, and 2 location. So now it's time to remove the second banana also, and at the end we still will be having one banana which is on third location. So if we run this, something goes wrong. You can see that we have now cherry, not kiwi in our list. This is why happened. It's just because we are we are doing something wrong. So 1, 2, 3, and it will remove everything, every banana. Now we don't have any banana. So if you do not specify the index, the pop method removes the last item. Okay, so if we don't tell any location, then pop item will automatically remove the last item. As much as you call the function, it will remove one by one each item from that, and we will be having only apple and banana. You can see that. So this is how pop works, and there is a del keyword also remove the specific index. So it also makes sense, and it is also used in different languages to remove any specific item. So what it does, if we run this, we have a list and which contains three items, and we are just giving the del keyword and specifying the list we have and specifying also the index. So our first index is 0. So when we run this, we will only having the banana and cherry in the list. And if we give here the location to 1, it will remove the banana. If we give it location 3, it will remove the cherry. So the del keyword can also delete the list completely. So if you don't specify any, so what it has done, we don't have third location, we have only second location. That's why it's telling the it is wrong. If we remove this and it doesn't give any location of the list, that's mean we are deleting the whole list. If we run this, then you can see we will doesn't have any value. Okay, it's something goes wrong. So if we run this, it will because showing the issue because we doesn't have any value in our in this list. Not any value, but we have deleted the entire this. So now we doesn't have a variable name this list. That's why it's displaying the error. This means that you doesn't have this list because we already have deleted it in this line of code, and we doesn't can see any list in our code base. So that's why print function when it runs, it is displaying an error. So the error is itself a message that we have done this, but we doesn't have to showcase any stuff. So that's why it's displaying an error. You can also use this, but it is makes no sense because it will display another stuff. It is a list. It is a string now. It's not a list variable anymore. So you have to keep in mind that. Now it's time to clear the list. The clear method empties the list. The list still remains, but it has no content. So in this stuff, we have an issue that when we run this variable, and if we delete the list, there will be an error because our list is not found in the code base. For the best stuff, for the best usage of methods, it's clearing the list. What it will does, it will clear whole list, and we can still run it and we can see it is empty. What is the difference between del and clear? Del will delete the whole variable, whole list, but the clear function still deletes the all of the item in the list, but it will keep the list variable so we can insert or remove stuff in it. So we doesn't have any value, so we can't delete any stuff, but we can insert things. Once some values are inserted, we can remove the stuff again. So here is an example exercise. What is the list method for removing the list items? What is the list method for removing the list item? What is the list method for removing the list item? List item, how we can, it's pop. We can remove the stuff. Now let's move forward. So we will be using list and loop to output the whole data in our list. So let's dive into it and learn about how loops work. But we will be discussing loop in depth in the loop section. Just for now, how to use loop in list, we will going to do that. So loop through a list. You can loop through the list item by using for loop. And here is an example which contains this for loop with the list. So what it will do, uh, whenever we need to output any list, we just give the index and try to output the stuff. But it will be fail when we have a lots of data in our list and we can't do manually print out each stuff. So instead of manually typing like this, print this list and giving the index, which will cost us our time, and it is not a best practice to output a list. So for outputting three items in a list, what we are going to do, we need to put the index so it will print out the stuff. And if we remove this, it will work the same, but it required more line of code. The data of the amount of data increases in our list increases the number of print function in our code base. So it is not a best practice. So for resolving this, we have a loop. The loop is generally looping through our whole list, whatsoever data we have. Like if you have one item or either thousand of item in your list, it will still work for that. If we increase the amount of items in our list, we will see how it will still work. And you can see that the for loop is just a small syntax. However, we have only one print function, which makes it more dynamic and more useful. So here what is happening, we have a for loop. For declaring a variable, we use the x variable, which will contain the whole each item in our list. So it will change the index is the loop begins. So in the first iteration, its location will be, I think its location will be 0. So it will print the 0 position item. Then when it goes to another loop, so this loop will run until the number of items in the list match. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items in our list, so the loop will be run around 11 times until the last items print out in our screen. So this is also declaring that the amount of items we have, and also it is displaying the list itself. So it means that it will iterate through all of the list, all of the item in the list one by one as a loops run. So let's go for it and see how it is going to run. So we have just increased the items in our list, so it will run a lots of time and it will print out all the items in our list. So this is how lists work and how we can use a loop for printing out all of the items in our list. So loop through the index number. So loop through the index number, what it can be done, you can also loop through the list item by referring to their index number. And referring to index number, however, I can't understand that, but what I understood that we can also give a range. What the range will do, this is a better syntax which is more easy to understand, but this is more realistic and index wise output. So if we see that, you can see that we have a for loop with a range, and in this range we are telling that exactly what we have discussed later before. In that it was a dynamic, so here it is dynamic. The number of items in our list will be automatically calculated by the for loop, but here we are directly giving the range by telling the length of the list, and it will give the exact length of the list, and the range will be set to the uh, number of length of our list. So it will only run uh, 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 once it matches the exact amount of items in our list, it will stop running the loop. So it is a best practice if we try to see what I denote it for. So you can see that how many times of a loop has been run. So you can also understand. So index, it will start, I will be starting from the index 0, but it is count as 1. So if you can see that the loop will start one time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Loop is run around 12 times as we have more amount of items. As if we remove some of them, you will see the loop will run minimally. So it is now running lesser than before. So as we remove the line of the amount of items in our list, it will decrease its loop iteration. So iteration does means that the iteration means a complete loop starting from here to ending and going for another loop. The whole duration called one iteration. So the iterable created in the example above is 0, 1, 2, which we already have seen. So for loop is a best loop which beginners follow, and I also prefer for loop. But in many scenarios, we also need a while loop where things are not clear, and but still we have to run it until the work is done. In for loop, we just determine, we directly give the amount of range which will indicate that you have to run until this length match. But in while loop, we doesn't have any limitation, so we have to run the stuff until the amount of things end. So it can be a dynamic stuff. If your list is most dynamic, and it can contain new amount as you cannot fix the amount in your loop, so you can use for loop. You can loop through the list item by using while loop. Use the length function to determine the length of the list and start 0 and loop way through the list item referring to it their index. Remember to increase the index by 1 after each iteration. So here you can see that we had a condition and we have a lots of stuff to write. And if we do so in while loop, what we have to do different from for loop, you don't need to uh, declare I, which is a variable in our for loop, and we have to indicate and declare the I before the loop so it can run properly. So in starting, we are telling that our I variable is equal to 0, and we are starting our loop in which we are telling that the I is less than the length of the list, and if it's match the condition, it will go through the loop, and in starting it will definitely work because our I is equal to 0. It means our length is more than the I, so it will go for the loop and print the first amount, and it will add 1 in our list I. So when we go towards second loop, it will update the value of I to 1. So it will continue until its value is matched. When the value of I is equal to length of the list, the loop will be stopped. So when will it happen? It will happen when the I variable contain the location of children, and when we compare the uh, value of I, it will be around 5, and the length of 6 and the length of items list is also 6. Then this condition becomes wrong, and which cause the loop to finish, so it will not run above mm, the last item. So if we want to print the I also, then you will see how it is going to work. It will start with 1, I think, and goes for around 6 times. Either you can do that, either you can do this way, in which you will see I starting from 0. So it will be starting with 0, and this is not best practice because we have I value from here. So this is the best practice you can run, and you will see how many times the value of I changes. So this is how you can use while loop. Now looping using list comprehension. List comprehension offers the shortest syntax for looping through list. So it is a very easy and more usable loop list comprehension. However, its name is so complex, but its work is so smooth. How? We have a print function where we are printing the I x. X means the we should use I means each index of this list. So we are telling that we have to print for I means the index in our list. So we have to print each item in our list. If you got that, that's the best. So if you run this, you will see the output exactly we have before, but in few line of code, in one line of code. So this is the best practice for you if you want to use the list comprehension. So it will be best for you. So what is the correct syntax for looping through the items of a list? What is the correct syntax? So we have already discussed a lot of syntaxes, but for now let's see which is the best. So for X, for I doesn't use any of these. I think it is seems like little confusing. Mm, does we have put any that kind of a thing? This second one will be okay. If it's wrong, why? If we do this, is it right? Yeah, we just have to put this, I don't know, colon to indicate that, but we don't have use yet, so that's why we are wrong. But hopefully you have done right. So let's go forward. So now it's time to learn Python list comprehension. What is list comprehension? List comprehension offers a shorter syntax when you want to create a new list based on the value of the existing list. So based on the list of fruit, you want a new list containing only the fruit with the letter A in the name. Without list comprehension, you will have to write a for loop statement that with a statement with the conditions test inside. So you have both code, so we can see the difference with and without list comprehension. It is without list comprehension in which what we are going to do is we have a new list, and the first list contains few fruits, and the second list doesn't contain any stuff. So we are running a loop for our fruit list, and if we have a condition, if a in x, if our fruit content any fruit content variable a in the name, then the new list will be appending, means that our item which contain a word in their name, they will be appending in this list, means they are attaching in the list one by one. So if we run this code, then we will see the new list will contain some of these fruit which contain alphabet A. If there doesn't contain alphabet A, which are cherry and the kiwi doesn't contain, so you can see that they are removed from the code. And for getting this whole scenario, we have to write lots of line of code. It is not issue to write a lots of line of code. It is making things little confusing also, where we have to declare a stuff which doesn't contain any item, and we have to declare a condition, and we have to run a loop, and then everything will work. Instead of that, we have list comprehension. You can do all of that with only one line of code. So let's see. So our new list, we are not declaring the new list emptily. We are just doing something which will change whole new stuff. We just replacing this whole stuff loop and the uh, condition with this line of code. This is totally telling like what this whole code base uh, telling to us. So when it is happening, we have created a list fruits which contain 5 fruits, and in second list we are just dynamically telling that we have x for x in our fruits means we have each item for we have to run this. I think I have to learn about the list comprehension little bit. So if I want to understand the syntax, so this is the expression for what the process of making no one thought of it. Expression. Yeah, it means uh, the total amount of iteration. Okay, so it will change based on the number of fruits in our list. So it will start from 0 and it will see each item. It will run again and again. Still, it is little confusing, but we can understand from here. You can see that the first stuff is expression, and it is a for loop. And X is the item, and in iterable means we are using this fruit for iteration. Each item again and again. And if condition we have here, where we are directly telling that if there is a in x means there is a in the any of each item, then it should be in this list. Without that, there should be no items from the fruit list. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope. So if we run this, then it's totally going to do the same stuff as before, which we have seen. So instead of writing a line, lots of line of code, you just have to write one line of code, which is called list comprehension, and the return value is new list, leaving the old list unchanged. Our this list will be not changed anymore anything in this list because we are just creating we are just having some items in our this new list from the fruit list based on a condition. So we are not removing any stuff from the first list, but we are just filtering out and getting some items from the first list to our new list. So here is another condition. The condition is like a filter that only accepts the items that evaluate to true. So if A is present, it's true, then it will be inside this list items. If not, then it will not the part of the list, new list. Only accept items that are not approved. So not Apple. So in this section, we are just telling that if our any item in our list is not Apple, then it should be accepted. Means we only accept Apple, everything will be included in our new list. So it's just basically telling us about it. You can see that Apple is skipped. If we put banana, then
Banana.
banana, then it will work as same. In which now banana will be not included and everything else will be included. So this is how this comprehension works. The condition if x is not, it means it's not. Apple will return true for all elements other than apple, making the new list contain all of the fruit except apple. The condition is optional and can be omitted. Condition is the condition can be used or not based on your own desire. If you remove that, then it will still work, and our new list will contain all of the items in our first list. So, so now shall we know what is iterable. The iterable can be any iterable object like a list, tuple, set, etc. You can use the range function to create an iterable. So our new list, which will contain, let's try out this to see what will be the answer. So So you can see that we have a variable x which will be um, which will be run uh, around 10 times. We have to indicate the range, and we have the ix is our items. So it will store the x each time when the loops run. So if we run this, then you will see it will around have 10 items, um, 10 items on list. So you can see that something is wrong because it is starting from 0. So our loop always start with 0, considering it as 1. So if you want to indicate it should start with 1. If we run this, then our loop should be start from 1. Still it is not working. So we have to do something for it. What if we put 1 here? Should it work? Bad gateway. Okay, we can't do that. So yeah, it's okay for now, but in future we will be seeing why it's not working. And here will be some examples and other stuff you can explore by yourself. These are also easy to do it. So it's on to you. You should do by it yourself. So consider the following code. Our fruits has this and our new list contains this. X for X in fruits if X is equal to banana. So it will only contain one stuff which is banana, right? So let's move on towards the next section.